Have you ever wondered why off-the-plan properties are still around? Why there are so many of them being marketed despite the negative sentiment? I mean, surely if they are so bad, nobody would invest into them. Yet, you still see very rich people and knowledgeable people going with off-the-plan investments and making great money with them. And no, I am not talking about the developers who make money from selling them. I'm talking about the smart money who touches these forbidden assets. They are the people who know their ways around off-the-plan investments and are able to get the best results out of them. And when I'm talking about off-the-plan properties, I am not referring to apartments. I'm referring to house and land packages. Apartments are, in my opinion, never good investments, except for a selected few, which I don't want to discuss in this video. Now, first of all, before we dive into the how and to really make sure you know what I'm talking about, let me run through what qualifies a property as off-the-plan. An off-the-plan property is a real estate property that is purchased even before it is built or completed. What this means is that you're purchasing based on floor plans, 3D renderings, and displays rather than a physical inspection. So usually when people purchase an off-the-plan property, they pay a deposit upfront of around 5 to 10% and the rest upon the completion of the property. This means you're able to secure a property at today's price for only 5 to 10% of the money. However, the stigma you hear about off-the-plan properties is unfortunately correct. That there are a lot of downsides with off-the-plan properties for most people, especially the unaware. So before I go through how you can make money from them, let me educate you on the potential gains from off-the-plan properties and the risk that 99% of people actually face, which you won't have to. Now, first of all, with an off-the-plan property, you are getting full tax depreciation from it since it is brand new. This means your taxable income yearly will be lower, reducing the amount of tax you have to pay. And also, with an off-the-plan property, like I mentioned before, you only need a very little amount to actually start with. Usually a much lower deposit to secure a property that might increase in value once it's finished building. So for example, you pay around a 5% deposit today for a property valued at $500,000. And when it's finished building in 2 to 3 years and the property is valued at $600,000, you were able to access this gain at only 5% being the deposit rather than paying the whole thing up front. And lastly, given the restricted supply of real estate properties, governments really love it when you build new houses and live in them. Therefore, many countries offer grants, and for instance, in Australia, the government provides a first home owner grant of up to $10,000 when buying new homes. And with these, there are reasons why new homes are not coming as much as the government would like. It's because of the much longer list of risk, which I will go through now. With off-the-plan properties, as per the definition I gave you, they are not yet built. This means, as an investor, you will have to speculate years in advance since you're buying something that will only be fully built in 2 to 3 years. And a lot of things can happen in 2 to 3 years. Will prices go up? Will prices go down? Will you make a loss before the property is even built? How about your interest rates? Interest rates might be a lot higher when the property is fully built. This means the cost of buying can skyrocket, which results in your borrowing capacity shrinking. Therefore, as a bank gives you a smaller loan from your shrinking borrowing capacity, you suddenly now can no longer afford the property, so you end up losing 5% that you actually gave the developers 2 to 3 years ago for a deposit. Plus the actual 2 to 3 years of time lost of you wasted getting nothing in return. And the same goes for a drop in property value as well. If the market value of your property drops before it's even built and your loan is approved, your loan will be reduced since your loan is based on the current market value of your property. So property values go down, loan amount goes down. Therefore, you can now no longer afford the property. And if interest rates and prices aren't enough, there are other things. The main thing that scares people away from off-the-plan properties is the lower quality of build usually associated with the developers. With established houses at least, usually most people have already factored in the quality of housing into the pricing. But with new houses and with their fancy marketing, they make it seem like there are no issues, so the pricing doesn't factor in potential problems. But the reality is that there are a lot of issues with new houses. Structural issues, wall cracks, leakage, improper flooring to be the least. I mean, you hear about this everywhere.
I just can't believe how the engineer did this.
Look at that, mate. Not even fixed.
You guys are installing paling fence that's rotted on the capping.
So as you can see, quality of build is a real issue with off-the-plan properties. And not only that, if it's a house and land package, you're potentially buying unregistered land. This means you have no idea how long it will take for the council to approve your registration. Delay from registration is usually 1 to 2 years, and you add the time of build of another 1 to 2 years in, and it'll be up to 4 years of you waiting, stuck on a property. Another issue that people have with off-the-plan properties is that they are usually overpriced. The price the developers tell you tend to not be the actual price of the property, but a lot higher. This is because there is fat commission that is baked into the price for whoever introduced the property to you. For an off-the-plan property, commission is usually 6 to 10%, which is 3 times more than a normal property's commission, and you're paying for it as a buyer, while for a normal property, the seller pays for it. And while you're paying for the property, a lot of them tend to lose value very, very quickly too. The majority of off-the-plan properties tend to be in developing areas, and these areas tend to have a lot of vacant land. A lot of vacant land means a lot of supply. A lot of supply means your property will have a very hard time to even get any gains in its price. Therefore, it's essential for you to prepare and analyze the property and market you're looking at. Because while there are a lot of risk with off-the-plan properties, the seasoned investors know their ways around them, and their systems includes the following. Firstly, they make sure there is strong rental demand. This means high likelihood of infrastructure development in the area, high employment growth, and high population growth, and great proximity to transportation, schools, shops, and amenities. These are standard great fundamentals not only for off-the-plan properties, but for real estate investment in general. They also look for things like high rental yields, where the property should cover all costs and achieve a positive cash flow. This will allow opportunities to further borrow from the bank and leverage out to more properties if they are in the right stage of the real estate cycle. And with high rental yields, the smart money also wants to make sure the property and the underlying area has the right tenant demographics. A lot of times they prefer families since they tend to rent for longer, and they are more likely to buy, which provides higher opportunities for capital growth. And that should cover the demand side. On the other side, which is the supply side, the seasoned investors also choose areas with limited new developments to avoid oversupply, which can depress property values and rental yields. They also prioritize looking for under market value for off-the-plan properties, which are usually, to be honest, very, very rare and hard to find. So for each property, a method that they use is to look at similar properties around the area to calculate the land value of the underlying property. Once they have got the land value, they will then calculate the cost to rebuild, and they use an online tool from any insurance company you can find out there to do that. The sum of the cost of land and cost to rebuild should give the investors a reasonable intrinsic value of the property. Lastly, to combat the issue with poor quality of build from the developers, the investors they make sure to research the developers and the builder's history to ensure that they all have a strong reputation for delivering quality projects on time. They will also look at their past developments for quality and adherence to promised features, and also to ensure the developer doesn't go bankrupt before their projects are finished. The investors assess the developer's financial health to really minimize the risk of project delays or insolvencies. This may include just checking reviews, ratings, or any third-party reports you can find out there on the developers, since if they go insolvent, you will lose your deposit. So overall, I would say, effort equals result. Those who research and prepare well will outperform those who don't do anything or do very little in the long run. I have seen so many people opting for off-the-market properties the moment they hear of tax benefits from their accountants without doing thorough research. And these people always end up paying the price and losing their money. One thing I see that is common among people is that people try their best to maximize their taxes with depreciation, and they always forget and neglect the investment fundamentals and choose poor properties. At the end of the day, they make losses so big, they don't even have taxes to pay. So who do you want to be? A guy making $100 paying $30 in taxes, or a guy paying $0 in taxes and losing $20,000 year after year? Tax benefits should only be secondary in nature and a bonus to good investment fundamentals. Therefore, focusing on thorough research and fundamentals will take you quite far in your investment journey. However, the thing is, those only is not enough, because good timing, in the end, is the difference between a 10x gain and a 2x gain for property investments. So watch this video next to not miss out.